Okay, so the not a lot has changed since this past weekend, but one thing, I guess the biggest change would be this coming weekend is that instead of doing two Sunday afternoon services, we're now going to do one Sunday afternoon service. We're going to be combining the 4 o'clock and the 6 o'clock p.m. services. This past weekend, we had about 35 people at the 4 o'clock service, about 50 at the 6 o'clock service. And at the end of both of those services, Tom did a kind of an informal interview to see how they would feel about, combining those times together. And it was pretty, I guess, as unanimous as an informal interview or survey can be. It was fairly unanimous that they were all in favor of just going ahead, mixing things together and doing a 5:30 p.m. service. So that change is going to happen starting this weekend. That's not to say that something might not change for the next weekend as we go through this process and we just figure out how to do this to the best of our ability. That's kind of where we are. So how that will change the schedule. The Sunday morning schedule will still be the same. We'll rehearse at 7 a.m. We'll do full run through. It's basically going to be like a Wednesday night rehearsal, except on Sunday morning. We'll do our 9 o'clock and our 11 o'clock services, and then we'll come back and do a 4:30 p.m. rehearsal, and then 5:30 p.m. service, and then be wrapped up by about 6:30, 6:45. The other addition that I'd like to make for this weekend is I'd like to bring back the backstage team this coming weekend. This past week we kind of saw how everything ran on just a very, very limited crew, and I think we're ready to start having that team come back. And those of you that served this past weekend, I feel comfortable. Here's how I want to say this. If you want to hang out backstage, you're more than welcome to hang out backstage. I think we kind of saw how that's going to work and, saw basically how everyone's doing with social distancing, and y'all are doing a good job with it. The most important thing, I've said this before, but I just want to reiterate, is do what you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable hanging out backstage and, being in a little closer proximity with folks back there, you're more than welcome to. If you're not, that's okay. And, don't make anyone feel uncomfortable because they're at a different comfort level than you. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but, some of these things have to just be reiterated, it seems like. That's the main thing. I will ask that you continue to wear masks when you're not on the platform. Again, I'm not going to be militant about it because in the hustle and bustle, I know this weekend before the 9 o'clock service, we had some tech issues that we were all running around just trying to figure out. And when you're trying to solve those things last minute, sometimes you forget about wearing masks. I get it. I get when you're in production mode that it can slip your mind. But as much as possible, please be mindful about wearing masks when you're not on the platform. The main thing is whenever you're with the congregation, face to face, when you're out in the congregation, I definitely want you wearing masks then. And there are some members of our congregation who feel really uncomfortable about coming back, even at the point that we're coming back right now. And this is one small thing that we can do to help serve them and help to alleviate that, just that lack of safety that they're feeling. So something small we can do to serve them. I think that's about it. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Do you know? Go ahead.
Sorry. So
no, that's okay. Go for it, Colleen.
When we're sitting and singing with the, like if we're just part of the congregation, and we're listening to the sermon, that's when you want us to have masks on?
Yeah.
So like through the whole sermon and
Yeah,
everything?
I would say if you're, here's the thing, and I'm trying not to like create laws around the mask wearing. My I would say in that situation, Colleen, like if you're stationary, people aren't up and moving around, take it off. I think for me, the most important thing is if you're walking through the church, interacting with a bunch of different groups of people, just play it safe, put on a mask as you do. If you're stationary, if you're backstage, even if you're backstage hanging out and you're sitting there for an hour between services, you're just sitting there and talking. If you want to take your mask off, I'm fine with that. If you're sitting out in the congregation with your family and you're listening to a sermon, if you want to take your mask off, I'm okay with that. I'm more concerned with, as you're walking around, interacting with different folks in the congregation, just play it safe and have a mask that you can put on. Thank you. It's funny. That would be a fun book to try to write, though. The laws of mask wearing.
Hey Matt, what time do you want the backstage person there on Sunday?
Yeah, good question. Let's aim for 8:15. It'll give us enough time to just get everything on, and we'll do our production meeting at 8:30, and then of course go live at 9:00. We'll aim for that. Now, in the afternoons, we're still doing a skeleton crew in the afternoons, basically audio projection and the band. So we won't need backstage for the afternoon services. And one thing that we're trying to do and be really intentional about through this whole process of doing Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon services is I'm, as much as possible, trying to keep team members from serving both in the morning and the afternoon. It makes for a really long day, and I want you, I do want your service to be something that has an element of enjoyment to it. And I think if you start stretching out over an entire day, I think that it can get wearisome, especially if you're doing it week after week. So that's why we're doing that. I'm kind of being tongue in cheek there. I really am just trying to protect your time and keep you fresh and help you, help you serve well in the roles that you're in. So good. Any other questions?
Do you know when, in the scheme of things, you might start bringing back some of the other horns and stuff?
Yeah, probably not until July. I think that, I think probably not until July. I would like to get at least 2 or 3 more services under our belts and just kind of see how things go before I start filling up the stage, with folks.
Sure. I just want to know, so if they ask questions.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say, Dennis, if you've got 1 or 2 of them who want to start like week to week, kind of start working their way back, I would be okay if, like if you and Zach wanted to do a weekend, or if you and Julie wanted to do a weekend together, I would be okay with that, or whoever else. I mean, you and whoever else. I know that you and Zach do most of kind of the improv, and anybody else, if Julie wanted to jump in and do that as well, gosh, you guys, I'm open to that, but I think it should be a little while before we start to bring the full team back.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, man, I might have missed this. I came in a little bit late.
That's okay.
For clarification, this weekend, the combined evening service is going to be a different band in the morning, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. And is the set list for this Sunday ready, or is it still being added to?
It is, yep. It's ready to go.
Okay.
We might change one key on one of the 1 or 2 of the songs, but I'll let you guys know when we get that finalized. It'll be finalized by tonight or tomorrow. So.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
Actually, I do have one other question. It's not
Yes,
really
sir.
about the band, just about the church. I thought I'd heard originally that they want us just to sign up for a service just once a month to give other people a chance to go to the other services. Is that still a thing? Or can we sign up every Sunday?
Sure. Good question. You're welcome to sign up for as many services as you want. We have overflow space for services if they start to get above a certain number. So the chapel is set up to be a secondary venue for that. We used it for one service and there were 5 people in there this weekend. So we do have some margin there. If you want to try to do every weekend, Matt, you and your family, you're welcome to do that. At this point, and I say at this point, we have one service of data to deal with. But at this point, we seem to have plenty of space for anyone who wants to come.
Okay.
But
I have
great
a question.
question. Yes, Colleen.
Are we going to be turning people away, or have we just always have? It sounds like there was enough room for everybody this past weekend, so nobody was turned away, right?
Nobody was turned away. Kind of our philosophy on this, and the philosophy on the philosophy on masks and the philosophy on attending church is that anyone who wants to come and worship, we want them to come and worship. We're not going to turn anybody away. If even if that means that there's 151 people in a service, we're not going to turn anybody away. We're also not going to be legalistic from a mask wearing standpoint. Now, I've been a little more adamant about mask wearing just for our team, not for our congregation though. And it's because we're in a position of service. And so as those who are serving our people, I feel like we need to do everything that we can to make them feel comfortable from a health standpoint coming in and being part of our congregation. So that's kind of been our approach too as a church, to say there is no judgment if you want to wear a mask or if you don't want to wear a mask. And if you want to come and be a part of a service and worship in, person, even if you didn't sign up online, we're going to try to get you into the live service, or if we can't do that, we at least have overflow space that you can be a part of as well. So yeah, great question.
And do you know when that sign up will be available for this week?
Is it not already on the web?
I've not checked that. I've not gotten an email.
You've not got an email? Okay. Let me look real quick, Matt. That's a good question.
It's up and running.
Is it up and running? Okay.
Yeah.
So Matt Cuppa, if you go to the main page on the website, and it is, I'm trying to see, I think it's the second slider that's on there.
Oh, I see it.
But if you're serving, you wouldn't have to sign up though, right?
That is correct. That's a good question, Amanda. If you're serving for a weekend, you don't need to sign up.
I am actually Jessica.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the webpage.
Yeah, I didn't
Female
know that.
voice.
I've definitely been accused of worse things than Amanda. Amanda's great.
Okay, so yes,
thanks. June
21st is ready to go, Matt. In fact, any service you all want to sign up for, let me see before I say that. Is that true? Okay, yeah, it looks like the 21st is just the only service that's ready to go, which makes sense. I think they're kind of doing it week to week since we're making adjustments with service times and late structure and everything. I think they're doing it week to week once we know how things are going there. Yeah, absolutely. That's ready to go. Just go to the website, fbmaryville.org, front page of the website, click on the slider, and that's good.
Okay.
Good. Any other questions?
Hey, Matt.
Yes, Jessica.
No, this time it's
Amanda. Yes, Amanda.
Oh, goodness. Okay. I get, obviously, if we're serving, we don't have to sign up, but does our family, should we still sign the rest of the family up?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and sign the rest of the family up.
since we make up like half a pew on our own.
Yeah. Kind of the thought process behind not having the band sign up is that most of the time the band for most of the services is going to be in another room. Like we'll be up on the stage
Right.
and then we'll be backstage or in the large activities room or, wherever. So yeah, good question. Any other questions? Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate you all. Looking forward to another weekend. I really loved being back this past Sunday. I really loved having all of our services on Sunday. That was pretty awesome. Loved being able to see everybody and just felt like we had a good, successful relaunch of our in-person services. So appreciate your guys' help and your service and everything you do. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions, we'll go ahead and shut it down. And